woke up in a good mood this morning. Yeah. So when I put my fucking hand up, y'all do it with me. Turn the fucking lights down. Yeah. I said I was a young nigga caught up on inside this rat shit. I was trying to find a way for me to make a stack quick. But we been struggling too long and I ain't having it. Dreams and ramen noodles late at night was like the
welcome to the Chop Session.
Thank you for having me.
Happy Monday evening, my man. What's good?
I feel good, bro. I feel good. Thank you for having me. I'm excited to chop it up a little bit and just, talk.
Hey, man, you got some good fortune right now out here as a come-up artist.
Hell yeah.
And I want you to describe for me right now how it feels to be riding amongst this wave of this good fortune you've been experiencing currently. How are you handling all this right now, man?
I mean, it feels good. It feels great. I mean, I have always loved music my entire life, and I always wanted to do music. So to be actually able to, go to a new city almost every weekend and perform in front of a crowd who don't know me and then leave with fans and, just drop music, make music, be in the studio, make beats, all this stuff, and, actually get, I guess, respect for it now is just a dope feeling. In general, so to have that good fortune, like you're saying, come my way finally, it feels amazing. So I'm definitely riding that wave.
I hear you, man. I'll tell you, when you walk into a show, unknown, you walk out with new fans and followers on social media. You got an impressive number of followers for a 3-year come-up artist. For real.
Thank you.
And it's easy though to get caught up in your own hype, if you will. When you're on Facebook, if you still use that old ass platform, or for those of y'all who are in the current generation, Instagram, Twitter, Clubhouse, Telegram, whatever the hell you use, there's all this praise you get on social media, and it's easy to get caught up in all that.
Yeah. No, I definitely agree with that. One thing that we've made a huge priority is not letting our heads get too big. We all check ourselves. So, just we're still. There's so much more to do, and there's so much farther to go that I'm not looking at my IG numbers thinking I'm famous right now, because that would only be a detriment to what we're doing.
Right.
So, I'm happy with where we're at right now, and I'm happy to go even farther. So we're gonna try to take it farther.
Definitely, man.
Can't get complacent.
And you're just getting started.
Hell yeah.
That's the thing, is you're just getting started, man. Only 3 years into the journey, so, who knows, where life takes you next, man. The universe is smiling down upon what you're doing right now, as evident by the early successes that you have achieved artistically and with your shows, with the following you've been building up through the work.
Yeah, through the work.
And what are you trying to achieve as a rapper, if anything at all?
Damn, it's gonna make me sound cocky, but
sound cocky, man. This is the place to do it.
We're trying to go to the top. I mean,
there you go.
We've been working so hard, all 3 of us, the entire team. Couvy's been going crazy since before I was even born. I've always been trying to push myself as a producer, as a rapper, as hard as I can. I have a genuine love for it. Cameraman / rapper himself is an animal, just graduated high school, so we are a team of 3, and we're trying to move like a team of 1,000. So, and I think we can. And I think we have the potential to do it. When I hop on the interviews, when I hop on the stage and shit like that, the response that we get only makes it clearer to us that the potential that we think we have, we actually do have.
Yes.
And we're trying to tap into that as much as we can and just go to the top with it. And I genuinely think we can. So,
I think you can too, man. It shows. When you hear Random Thoughts, the latest EP, or an earlier work like Oba, or you follow along with the shows you've been performing, some of which have been some of the greats of the game, man.
Yeah. That was crazy.
It's crazy to watch, so it's evident just by watching your work, So, Ishan, tell me about how you grew up, and let's dive deeper into your early encounters with hip-hop. I understand it was first hearing artists like 50 Cent and Christopher Wallace, a.k.a. Biggie Smalls,
yes, sir,
that first gave you a taste.
Yeah, so actually the same radio that we just got played on, Jammin' 94.5, when I was a kid, my dad used to play that every once in a while. And that's the first time I ever heard anything hip-hop. So once I heard that, I was like, yo, like I said, 50, Biggie, even and I've talked about this before, even Chris Brown was he had just popped off around that time. So those three different facets of the hip hop R&B just like made it so clear to me there's so much you could do with this genre that I just fell in love with it. Not to mention like music has always been a part of our lives anyway. So like my dad's from Nigeria. African culture is pretty much entirely based around music.
Right.
On top of that, my sister, she's a vocalist, plus she plays 7 instruments. So I grew up like I'm 5 years old and she's playing violin down the hallway. Like always hearing music and always being around music always just made me just want to go into it. So then I fell in love with hip hop, and it's always been something I wanted to do. So I started rapping started making music when I was 17. I'm 22 now.
Right.
And I started producing a year later when I was 18. And I just fell in love with it even more, to be honest.
It's true also that people forget that virtually every popular genre in the mainstream of music was born out of black culture.
Yeah.
Everything from the blues to jazz to rock and roll, to hard rock, even punk. There's a band, called Death out of the mid-1970s that gets criminally overlooked a lot. That was, a black early example of punk music. And we often cite Death, this group, as the true start of punk.
Yeah.
Before we had all the mainstream acts you hear about, So people, don't forget, okay, very good chance that your favorite genre of music was born out of black culture.
For real.
It's
Very
true.
good chance.
It's true, So we cite these early examples that you loved of hip hop, that kind of thing. Who would you say, as a youngster, was your favorite, of the genre? And was there a particular album or single that was the most pivotal for you in terms of the moment you decided you love hip hop, you fuck with this shit, what was the one thing, the one intangible?
So to get me to start actually making music, was actually the album 1999 by Joey Badass.
Hey.
So when I was in high school, I used to listen to that like religiously. Like it would be looping all the time, and it's all like it spoke volumes to me because how young he was when he made the album, and just how all the OG hip hop flavors are in it. That album alone just made me want to just start going crazy. Specifically, Hard Knock on that album, just like that. That just made I was like, yo, I need to get a microphone. I need to set up something in my closet, which is what I did, and just start rapping. And that definitely inspired me a lot. To get me to fall in love with hip hop was Juicy by Biggie.
Good track, man.
Hell yeah.
Iconic. It was all a dream. Used to read Word Up magazine. I think that speaks to young Ishan as well. Maybe not Word Up magazine, but
definitely not Word Up.
No, but what was your Bible of hip hop early on? It was not Word Up magazine, but what was yours?
One website I used to be on all the time when I was like 7th, 8th grade was Hot New Hip Hop.
Nice.
Hot New Hip Hop introduced me to a couple different artists too. Actually, they're who introduced me to Dr. Dre's artist John Connor and Vince Staples. Those are 2 rappers that I genuinely love, and that's what Hot New Hip Hop brought to me. But it just brought so much to me when I was a kid, because like I didn't really know, other than like YouTube and looking up like good rap songs or something on YouTube. like that was the article or the outlet that just brought so much rap to me. So I used to be on that, like, especially like when I was like couldn't sleep or something like that. I'd just go on and like at night and just look at all the new shit that's dropping. And I used to be on that like all the time. So I guess that was my Word Up magazine.
So that was your 3 a.m. situation. You were just looking up obscure hip hop and what was new, what was happening, what was hot.
Hell yeah.
That's dope, man. That's dope. You were eating, breathing, and sleeping the culture even then.
Yeah, definitely.
Dope shit for real. And let's now go into the first time Ishan stepped on a concert stage, okay? I mean, it doesn't have to be, like a big situation. It could be anything really, but the first time you performed in front of people, what was going through your mind? Were you sure of yourself even at that point that you had it going on? I mean, what was that first experience like for you as a live performer?
So on top of hip hop, one thing I'm also really into is sneakers. I just love shoes.
Sneakerhead.
So yeah, I used to be way bigger of a sneakerhead than I am now, but I've always had love for that. So probably like 2 weeks after I released like my first song, Boston Got Soul, they reached out to me and they booked me for like a performance at their like upcoming like SneakerCon. And it was still like, this is back when they were a lot smaller too. They were doing shit in like a gym in Roxbury, and that was literally like 2 weeks into making music.
Right.
Is when it happened, and I was like overwhelmed, shocked, because I still was getting a lot of like, oh my god, Oba, like you make music, what the fuck? And then I was getting so much of that, and now it's like, oh shit, I gotta go to Boston. As I'm from New Hampshire, I gotta go to Boston next week and go rap on stage in front of people. It was crazy. But I was definitely a little anxious for that, but I had never performed before, so I couldn't assess like, oh, what if this goes wrong? What if this goes wrong? I just had general anxiety just because I've never done it before.
Yeah.
So, but that was a fun experience. I mean, obviously people were there for the shoes, so they would stop by and listen to whoever was rapping. But that was definitely my first performance ever, I think.
Most prized pair of kicks in your collection?
I just got the Travis Scott ones.
Hey.
So I'm liking those. I'm liking those a lot.
Those are tough.
Yeah,
those are tough. And as a collector, as a sneakerhead, what is the one piece, the one pair that you're big in the hunt for that you have yet to attain, like the holy grail for you, if you will, as a sneakerhead?
To be honest, a pair of shoes, I feel like they don't really mean a lot to a lot of people, but one shoes I remember I wanted so much when I was in like middle school were the Barkley Posits. There's something about those shoes. I didn't like foam posits too much, but the Barkley Posits were just so fire to me. I wanted those like crazy. Before that was the Air Penny 5s, but I got those. So now I let those sit, and I don't even touch them, but I look at them.
I hear that. I had a pair that were gifted to me some years ago. It was a Versace pair of kicks that were leather with like Swarovski crystals and things like that.
Crazy.
24 karat gold. But here's the thing. Like, you look at this pair and you're just like, I want to rock these. I want to get out there, but there's a good chance that you may not have them long.
For real.
And I was living out in Brazil at the time.
Okay.
And my housemates told me that, dude, if you go out downtown,
yeah, it might not be smart to step in certain areas with those on.
Right. So it's hard out there for a sneakerhead if you get like that holy grail pair, because you just want to rock that shit.
Yeah, but you also gotta be conscious of where you're rocking them. Someone might pull up on you, be like, "Yo, those look like my size." Grab them off you. So.
And don't dare ask what's your size, because they're like, fuck around and find out.
Yeah.
Seriously.
Yeah.
Seriously. So we're about to go on a music break here on the Chop Session, and for those of y'all who don't know, the latest EP is called Random Thoughts from Ishan. It is out there right now wherever you fuck with your favorite music, on any streaming platform, Spotify, Apple Music, what have you. Pull up and check out Random Thoughts from Ishan. Sir. If you fuck with my latest playlist, Fluctuation Airwaves 2 on Spotify, you've heard this track already. It's called Favorite.
Hell yeah.
So let's hear more about Favorite.
So Favorite, like I said, like I produce everything. So the way like my schedule works is crazy, because I'm full-time in school, I'm full-time in science, so I'm a science guy, I research cancer, and I full-time rap. So I have no free time. So this was like, in a year span, the only time I had was like the semester had just ended, and I had like 1 week off of work. So I literally just sat at my desk all day long for like 4 days straight, and I just made beats. And I probably made like 30, 40 beats or some shit. And I had made the beats for all 3 of the songs in Random Thoughts, and I was like, yeah, I just kept going back to them. I just kept looking back at them, like I was like, I need these, I need to do something with these. So I was like, fuck it, I'll make a project. So that was literally where I got the idea. So I literally was like, these are just perfect, and I need to make something out of it. So Favorite, that's the real, like the lo-fi shit that I love to do. And that song is just about, just getting to the pinnacle of, being somebody's favorite. When somebody thinks rap music, it's crazy to think that some people think Ishan immediately. Being somebody's favorite artist, being someone's favorite something, and making somebody's favorite piece of art is primarily what the song is about. And then also, like, I tap into other lyrics in the song where I'm talking about, so like niggas, what did I say? I was like, niggas try to push a product, but they market it well. That's like everybody obviously in music wants to be somebody's favorite artist, wants to be the top of the shit, but how are you pushing it? How are you marketing yourself? How are you bringing it to the ears of others? So it's not only about being someone's favorite, but becoming that, pushing yourself to be that. So that's that, and the song means so much to me, to be honest. The whole EP does, but.
Well, it's a dope track, y'all, of a
Thank
dope
you.
EP. This is Favorite. The artist is Ishan. This is the Chop Session. I am the indefinable Sterling Golden. We are back in a few here on Boston Free Radio.
I'm just trying to make your favorite
The
song.
artist is Ishan. The track is Favorite, off of the new EP, or latest EP in this case, Random Thoughts. This is the Chop Session. I am the indefinable Sterling Golden. You're listening to Boston Free Radio. If you're listening to the premiere drop of this episode, we've got Ishan in the studio this evening. And by the way, you always say it every week here on the show, in case you miss an episode of the Chop Session or you happen to lock in late, say less, we got you. Check out each and every episode of the Chop Session wherever you fuck with podcasts. Just hit that subscribe button and you are locked in. And later on this hour, guess what, y'all? We're going to drop on y'all the November lineup of guests for the Chop Session. This good shit continues onward and upward. And speaking of onward and upward, Ishan on his onward and upward come up journey.
Hell yeah.
As we speak out here. So let's talk more about the music of Ishan. I want to know, Ishan, do you feel more accomplished with your music if it's a work that you feel you drew up from scratch, or if it's inspired by something that you admire?
Damn, it's kind of a tough question. So you're saying is it either or?
Either or, man. Pick your poison, brother.
Well, I find that a lot of the times when I am making a beat or making a song, that it is inspired by just who I look up to, So, but also since I make it, right? Since I make the beat, I literally run across my living room to my booth and then come back and edit it and everything. I make it from scratch as well. So I've never actually had a project or a song, really, I guess until recently, that I didn't make. So that's why the question's a little tough for me. But I definitely, all my music means a lot to me. But I think that if I'm to make it entirely from scratch, just everything, it would definitely hit my heart way different.
I hear that. And, that's how it is with any creative. I think it's the ones that make you get up off that couch, like you said, run across your living room, you get started on this finished piece, that kind of thing, or finishing the piece, I should say. And there's definitely more satisfaction, I think, when it comes to a piece that is wholly 100% your own, as opposed to being inspired by an artist you admire or a song you admire and building from that. There's definitely more satisfaction in that process, I think. Definitely. And, you mentioned earlier on something about your studies in college, and I think it's a reflection of the consistent hard work and respect for your goals that you have, Ishan. And I understand that you are holding down this full-time college life at the same time as you're doing your life as an up-and-coming recording artist, and you mentioned your studies and your subjects and your choice of subject. I want to know more about what you're doing right now in terms of your college life and what it's like to balance these two.
Well, to answer that second question, it's not easy. It's definitely not easy. Especially since I'll explain how college went for me. So I started off at Suffolk University. I did my first 2 years there. Still doing rap, still producing everything. I actually made Oba in the dorm room when I was at Suffolk University. But I was studying biochemistry with a minor in molecular biology, I'm pretty sure. I think I remember it that way. And I was vice president of student government while I was out there. I was treasurer of another club. I was in 3 other clubs. I ran 2 committees while doing rap and producing. It wasn't easy. On top of that, I then got a job as a researcher at Harvard Med. I was studying cancer and immunology over there. And then, it was of course, made it harder. And then I decided to leave Suffolk. Just because, 5,000 kids there, only 7 of them are biochem majors. I just didn't feel like I could get what I wanted. out of the school. So I transferred to Northeastern. I got a full ride to study biochemistry out there too. So we're still doing that full time, and it's a lot different. It's a lot different, but I'm loving it. But like I say all the time, when it comes to this and you're balancing all these things, it's like you just gotta give a fuck. If you give a fuck enough, you're fine. You'll go do it, and you'll make all the sacrifices you need to make, regardless of how hard it is. And it's not easy, but if you care about what you do, what you're doing, and where you want to go, you'll make those sacrifices, and and things will start to pay off.
Giving a fuck, you mentioned that in your answer there, and I think these days people need to give a fuck a little more.
Yeah.
Because I think in the culture these days, for some reason, it's been accepted and it's been popularized to not give a fuck.
Yeah.
And I think that might be part of what the problem is with our current society and our situation. I don't want to, sound like I'm preaching over here, but, it's big facts, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
it's like
100%.
people, who claim to give a fuck, but at the other side of their mouth are talking about how they don't give a fuck.
Yeah.
I mean, which one is it?
I think you gotta reach a point where you understand that shit isn't gonna get handed to you. It's not, because I used to be like that. I used to post a song and, promote it on Instagram and be like, why the fuck aren't people sharing it? Why isn't this happening? People aren't going to do that. And they don't owe you that either. And that's in everything. With your work, with school, shit isn't going to be handed to you just because you think you deserve it. You have to just go get it. Even if you're praying for it, even if you're begging people to do it, you can go pray for it and then go get it too. So, and that just goes into giving a fuck. If you care enough, you're going to go do it. And I think you will start to care more once you realize that, it's up to you. It's you against the world.
And I said it on our recent conversation with Acrobatic here on the Chop Session. The law of attraction only works when you show up every day. And I think some folks forget that and think it's just about passively wishing and hoping for it. You got to show up and you got to put in the work. The thing about law of attraction is the last 5 letters you got to look at in law of attraction is action. Okay? You got to put in the work.
Hell yeah.
To make that shit happen for real for you.
Hell yeah.
Okay.
It's good to dream. It's great to dream, and you should dream, but you got to go follow your dreams.
It's true. It's big facts right there, man. And by the way, for those who don't realize it, if you're just tuning in late here on the show and missed this part of the conversation, Ishan is an artist who writes, engineers, and produces his own music, as you mentioned in our first part of our conversation earlier on. So I want to know, Ishan, what do you feel is your secret weapon as a lyricist, that intangible, that one special ingredient?
I'd say it's in my rapping, and I'd say simply my flow, my ability to switch that up. Which is why I'm happy that I make my own shit, because I literally can do whatever I feel like doing, and I don't have to articulate it to anybody. I don't have to go into a studio with a producer and ask them to make this for me. Sometimes you can't really put it into words. So that's what goes in writing. I don't need help with writing. Nobody helps me with my writing. I write what I want to write, how I feel like writing it, and I just make sure it works. And I think that my versatility in rapping, production, anything, has helped me get as far as we've gone so far.
Your dream collab, who is it?
Dream collab.
The fantasy collab, yeah.
Damn. There's so many artists I want to work with. Dream collab, I would say, is either Joey Badass or I always blank on this shit. I really want to work with Action Bronson, to be honest.
And why Joey Badass and Action Bronson's? Elaborate on that one.
Well, I've just been huge fans of them, to be honest. Like, I've just always been gigantic fans of them, and the way and the beats that they hop on, the producers they work with, and everything like that is like, I just idolize their music a lot. So Action Bronson, I mean, I'm always on whatever he drops. And Joey has been, like I said, he's part of the reason I even started recording. So, and I just respect his hustle. All the pro era dudes, and then you attach the Beast Coast, Flatbush Zombies, all of them. You attach everybody that they work with, everybody out there. And I have a huge New York bias too, so that also is probably a reason. But everybody, I just have huge respect for it. So
we'll touch on that later on. Actually, the affinity you have for the New York OGs. I mean,
100%.
It's dope, to think about it, whether it be hip hop or any other genre of music. In the past few decades, New York has produced so many icons, man.
100%. I mean, I don't think anybody really has shit on New York, to be honest. I think it's hard to catch up. It's hard to catch up.
It's true, I mean, you go from any genre, okay, in the last few decades of music. There are so many Hall of Famers from that part of the world. And there was a time, though, when you didn't have a whole lot of greats of the game coming out of New York. Initially, there wasn't a whole lot of that happening. But then I think after maybe the 60s or 70s, you began to hear about so many names that just stood the test of time. Mm-hmm. And then hip-hop, took over, took the wheel. And now, I mean, I would say, in my opinion, no disrespect to, my hometown of Boston. Okay, I want to make that clear to our listeners worldwide. I think New York is truly a cornerstone, for the greats of hip-hop. I think
it always will be.
Perhaps even more so than Boston, unfortunately, for our town here. But
yeah, we're going to work on that. We're going to work on that. The 617 definitely needs, we're getting our weight up. And people are definitely paving the way right now. I mean, right now is a great time for Boston hip-hop. Just in all facets, like Millie's is going crazy, Cousin Stiz is going crazy, Bia is going hard too. She just did a song with Nicki Minaj.
Besito's tough too. New track.
Yeah. Hell yeah. Mm-hmm. Hell, she just did that at the House of Blues.
That's right. That's right. Fine. It's funny. Actually, speaking of Bia, I point to Twitter for this part right here, and that is, she did the House of Blues. She did a performance, I believe, a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah.
And there was somebody on Twitter that offered an opinion and called her performance boring, and were kind of criticizing.
Yeah.
And Bia actually responded on Twitter. Okay, by the way, that's, if you don't know, and if you don't know, I don't know where you've been. It's at Bia, which is her tagline.
Yeah.
In her songs. But her response was interesting to me. I'm going to pull it up right now and get your thoughts on this, because I think it speaks to a lot of the issues we have out here with supporting each other. Mm-hmm. Okay, so the initial post, by the way, on Twitter, or tweet I should say, was, Bia performance boring. Color weak. Like, damn, Boston, can we finally recognize Dutch Rebel? Like, sheesh. Now, we recognize Dutch Rebel. We all do. Okay? One of the dopest females in East Coast hip-hop. I've had her on shows before. She is, a bona fide future superstar, in my opinion. Okay? But Bia replies on Twitter, quote, y'all are really weird and jealous of other people's success, and I hate that for y'all. We both have the same 24, right?
Yeah.
Unquote. Thoughts on that?
I mean, I agree. I can't disagree with that. I think a huge issue with Boston hip hop, or Boston just in general, is that people think it can only be one. We can all go up together. You don't have to hate on somebody else because they just happen to be in a better place than you, or your favorite artist at that given time. Because your favorite artist can get there. I remember I used to watch people, like, back when I just graduated high school, making the moves that I've made at this point, but I'm making now. And I used to get sick. I used to get upset, not realizing that I can just go do the same thing.
That's right.
And yeah, it takes sacrifice. It's not easy, but still, like she said, you have the same 24 hours. Let those 24 hours speak for itself. There's no point in sitting down on Twitter all day just getting pissed at other people making those moves when you can go make it themselves. And not to mention, people don't understand how much support goes. Support goes a long way. I remember everybody who has supported me throughout everything, because so many people have slept on us to this point where, like, I look at it and I'm like, those people who support us, who show up to the shows, who repost everything I post on Instagram, I'm like, yo, you could have slept like everybody else did, and you didn't. And that's not going to be forgotten. So people don't understand, like, just supporting and showing love could put them in a good position too. Because if I go get a bag and I'm feeling generous, you know what I'm saying? I might want to help out those people who showed all that love when I had nothing, when I only had one supporter.
That's right. And I'll say this too, before we go to our next song here on the show. Remember, y'all, hate comes from those with people who aren't, if you will. Don't take it personally, y'all. You're just a reflection of their insecurities. It's the truth.
Always.
This next track, by the way, from our man Ishan here on the Chop Session is called Bang.
Hell yeah.
Real quick, let's hear about Bang.
Bang is probably one of the most fun songs I've ever made. Like I said, that was in the same week I had made Favorite and Hold Up. I was just making beats, and that sample just like, I heard that sample and I was like, oh shit. I was alone in my apartment. I was about to start running around. I was like, damn, that's crazy. So I made that beat and I started writing like immediately. Like right after the beat was finished, like right after I wrote the bass line and everything, I'm like, yeah, I need to do some crazy shit on that. The hook that you'll hear, I'm better in the summer, but the winter got me feeling good. That came to my head as I was making the beat. And that's how I knew the song was going to be something different. Because usually it takes me a little bit to come up with that first bar and then I just go crazy. But that shit was already in my head. Yes. So I was like, yeah, this is going to be crazy. So I was excited to make it, and I'm excited with the reception it's getting and how far it can go. Love this song.
Let's get it, y'all. Bang. This is Ishan on the Chop Session. I am the indefinable Sterling Golden. This is Boston Free Radio. Bang, Ishan, the Chop Session. I am the indefinable Sterling Golden. This is Boston Free Radio. We have the man Ishan in studio.
In the building.
This evening in the building, if you will. And next week in the building here on the Chop Session for Halloween week, we have three ladies repping hard rock of Boston like no other right now. They are Stormstress, and they are pulling up next week here on the Chop Session, Monday, 6 p.m. U.S. Eastern Time on Boston Free Radio to set that Halloween mood off for all y'all. And speaking of the Chop Session, in case you sleep on an episode or you lock in late here on Boston Free Radio, say less, we got you. Check out each and every episode of the Chop Session wherever you listen to podcasts. Just hit that subscribe button and you are straight. And now we have Ishan here in the studio. We're going to peel it back a couple of years with this next question here. We'll talk about 2019's joint Oba, okay, which recently got remastered and remixed and re-released. So how do you look back on that project 2 years later? Does the entirety of the work still hold up for you? Is there anything you would go back and change about the original process? Let's talk about Oba.
I learned so much making that project that I don't think I could ever want to do anything different, because there's so many, everything I learned doing that has helped me out when I made Random Thoughts, when I make new songs, when I make everything. So that project was just a huge, like, it goes way farther than music for me. I mean, that's like, when I listen to that again, like, it brings back so many memories and feelings of like how things used to be. Like, I used to, like, how shit was going on in my head, shit was going on in my life and everything. It just brings everything back, and like so many things are different now. And yeah, so that project is just a huge thing to me. So I don't think I ever want to change it, to be honest.
I mean, I heard the remastered version of Oba, and I will say that it's a tough record. You know, if y'all haven't heard Oba, if you have not heard any Ishan music before tonight,
definitely catch that.
Start off with Oba, and then build up to Random Thoughts, the new EP, you know, and get the full picture of this man's work, Ishan, and find out why he is someone who is a true student of the game. You know, and speaking of being a student of the game, I mentioned earlier on how the OGs of hip hop's New York scene were a primary influence on you. Now, is there an OG who influenced you, or whose level of skills you feel that you will never reach?
Oh shit. You know, I used to hear stories of when Fat Joe was in interviews talking about like Big Pun, and like how like in Twins when he's like dead in the middle of little. So like that shit was all a freestyle. Like they used to like just kick it and just like come up with like alliteration bars like that, and just like off the top of the head. That's crazy to me. To put it for lack of better term, like that is just wild. The fact that that was a pastime. Like they would do that all the time. Like that shit, like I could do that, but I need to sit down a little bit and like come up with some bars. That shit was like all off top of the head for them. So
Right.
Big Pun's skills is something that I genuinely look up to. I study it. Like when I listen to music, I'm studying because it helps me get better as a producer, as a rapper, as everything. So he's definitely somebody that I study like crazy. And his lyricism and his flows and everything, is his versatility is just fire to me. So I think, could I reach it with a lot more work? But am I there right now? He's got me beat. He's got me beat.
Keep at it, my man. You know,
Appreciate it.
It could happen. You never know, man. You never know. Just stay on this shit for real. And outside of hip hop, okay, what else is Ishan listening to today?
What am I listening to? I like a lot of like old, like soul blues. To be honest, like Otis Redding,
Nice.
Nina Simone. Those are like my two favorite vocalists of all time. So to be honest, like, and I have them all the shit on vinyl. So
That's how you
like,
do it.
I'll let that go. Other than that, I listen to a lot of, because like I said, I'm Nigerian, so I listen to a lot of African music too, and I grew up on a lot of it as well. So like right now, like shout out Nigeria, like Burna Boy, he's the Drake of Nigeria, to be honest, and he's one of the biggest artists I got, and I listen to him all the time. I mean, I played in the car with my team. Like I love all that, but I will say 99%, 98% of the time I'm listening to rap or something hip hop.
You mentioned Nigerian music, and you mentioned collecting vinyl.
Yeah.
Okay. So, as a vinyl collector, someone who digs through the dust and the grooves for some dope shit, I will make a recommendation here on the show to you.
Let me write that down.
He's going to write it down. I love it. Asiko Rock Group. Okay, and don't let that title fool you. Okay, it's some crazy.
Shit.
It's fire, man.
Word. Okay, how do you spell
1976 release. Okay, Asiko Rock Group. Okay, look that shit up.
Right.
If you can stream it. But best on vinyl. Asiko
Cool.
Rock Group is a must for your vinyl collection.
Hell yeah. Let's do
Okay.
that.
And as a vinyl collector, okay, what would you say has been your greatest find?
I'm not sure. I mean, actually, I found like a still in the plastic Chronic at a Goodwill in Salem, New Hampshire. I found that they're still in the plastic and everything. So that was
the Chronic from Dr. Dre.
yeah.
Still sealed at a Goodwill.
Yeah.
And vinyl. Wow, that's crazy.
Yeah, so I got that, and then I actually gifted that to my sister's husband. So I gifted that to him, and then actually like 2 years later, he gifted me another Chronic vinyl. Just to show love. I told him every time I see it when I go to their house, I'm like, damn, I kind of miss that. So he ended up buying one, and getting me that like about 2 years later.
And how big is the collection today?
How many vinyls? I'm not sure because I just moved, so I got rid of some of them. But I definitely I've never quantified it actually. I've never counted. I just buy them because I like them.
Is it walls full? Is it crates full?
Yeah. So Couvy was at my manager. He was at my crib before I moved. I had a full wall of, it was like 4x5,
Nice.
and I had vinyl, and some of them had 2, 3 of them shelves. So
That's
and then I
nice.
have a full thing, right, because I sample off vinyl every once in a while. So and then I have a bunch of ones that that they're from Goodwill, that's from Salvation Army, so are not as presentable. So I keep them stashed, and I look at those too. So I definitely have, I don't know, somewhat upwards of 100.
Nice. That's dope, man. That's dope, And speaking of dope, let's talk about the latest EP, Random Thoughts. We've heard a few tracks off of that already.
Hell yeah.
We haven't really delved into the story behind Random Thoughts, which is the latest EP from Ishan. Stream it now, y'all. Spotify, Apple Music, wherever you fuck with music, do it. So let's hear about the story behind Random Thoughts.
So like I said, when it came, so I had made a bunch of beats, and yeah, those 3, Hold Up, Bang, and Favorite, those were just out of all the beats I had made that 1 week, those are the ones I just kept going to. I kept, I would put them on when I was in the car. I would send them to myself, so I made sure I had them when I was going to play it in the car, my headphones or whatever. And I just kept looping those. And I wrote to him, but I was also like, I want to make a project. There's something about this, I don't want to drop these as singles. Because before that, I had been dropping like a bunch of singles, which if you can't find them on my Spotify, you'll see them soon. They're coming back. But I had just been dropping singles, and I was like, I don't want to make these singles. I want these to be in its own project. And yeah, it's small,
Right.
three tracks, but I was like, I want this to be in its own thing, and that's the randomness behind it. Because those songs, they sound good together, but they're not all the same vibe. Sometimes you hear rappers and you listen to their album, and the first half of the album, or even sometimes the majority of the album, kind of sounds the same or sounds very similar. These, I wanted to make 3 songs that don't sound like each other at all, but fit well together if you were to listen to them on one project. And I wanted to make something small. It's 9 minutes. You can listen to that twice on your way to work if you wanted to.
Yes.
So I wanted to make something small, but that just meant a lot to me, and just 3 songs that sound well together, that just completely different vibes.
Hey man, I'll tell you what. Random thoughts. First of all, shout out to Couvy. Okay.
Always,
for
rare breed.
turning me on to the sounds of Ishan, and I will say, full disclosure for all y'all out there, I wasn't familiar in the beginning. I am now. In fact, when Couvy first mentioned you to me, I thought he was talking about a similar named rapper from way back called Isham the Unholy. Isham the Unholy. This is
Never
going
heard.
back early 90s Detroit area hip hop we're talking about
Damn.
here. Okay. And whoop whoop. And that was who I thought he was initially talking about. I'm thinking, you know Isham? He's like, no, Ishan. I'm like, okay, let me listen to him. Glad I did it, man.
Thank you.
The shit's tight, and I'm happy that you're pulling up here today to drop some knowledge on us about yourself and what you do and your thoughts on things. So, speaking of thoughts on things, the vision board for the future for Ishan, what's good?
So this year alone, we have a crazy video that's coming out off the Oba album, To Children. We just filmed that like 2 weeks ago, or like a week and a half ago, and I'm so excited for that video, bro. This is gonna go crazy. So that video, I have a song with Millie's dropping soon after that, and I think we just want to bang out, like a couple more singles to end the year strong. We might drop a project as well, maybe late this year, probably somewhere around December. But the music is gonna start coming soon. We've been gearing up and making our rounds and pushing heavy, but I think now it's time to definitely start dropping some art. So I'm excited for it. So yeah, so that's gonna happen, and then 2022. I don't know, to be honest. I mean, I think the sky's the limit.
I'll say this right now, man. Your 2022 moves will determine your 2030 life.
For real.
Okay? So whatever you have planned for 2022, think about how it's going to affect 8 to 10 years down the line for Ishan.
No taking.
Okay?
Thank you.
And those first big moves you make will determine your path.
Yeah.
And I'm excited to see what is next for you.
I appreciate that. Yeah, no, I'm ready to just gear up and start going crazy, to be honest.
The time is now, man.
Hell yeah.
Time is yesterday. Okay?
For real.
And in fact, as we record this episode, you guys, it was the previous evening when Ishan blessed the stage at a venue called The Jungle,
Hell yeah.
Somerville, Mass, in the USA. Before we piece out this conversation, let's talk about that performance.
So last night was my first time in the Jungle. I've never been. Very rarely am I in the Somerville area, to be honest. So it was really cool to have one of my first experiences in this area to be the Jungle, and I definitely love that venue. I performed Favorite last night. It was one of the first times I performed that song on stage, and it was just cool, just vibes all around. I mean, I was definitely very appreciative to have a lot of my people come out and show love, and then and like I said before, a lot of people there didn't know me, but when I asked people to put their hands up mid-set, they had their hands up waving, and it was all love all around. So I just felt really good about it last night, to be honest.
That's dope, man. That's dope. And we look forward to seeing what's next for Ishan in the weeks and months and years to come. Big love to you for pulling up this week. You can find him, by the way, on social media at Ishan the Rapper. That is Ishan the Rapper. Ishan the Rapper. Instagram, Twitter. Look for the man. Follow the man. Stream this man's music wherever you fuck with music. Okay? You can
Always.
find Random Thoughts. You can find Oba. Do your thing. Stream this man's music for real. You'll love the experience. And speaking of the music of Ishan, before we go to a break, Let's talk about this next track. It's called Police.
Ooh, Police.
Okay, let's talk about more about this track.
So I'll say this is one of my favorite songs to perform, to be honest. So that song was made, that was off the Oba album, and I produced that in my dorm room. I recorded it in the study room across the hallway from me at Suffolk, and this song is all just, I mean, I just made this grimy ass beat, and I was like, I wanted to talk my shit on it, to be honest. And so that's, you hear the second verse, I was like, niggas want to fuck with my energy, I ain't playing with it. Like, I feel like I've seen, you know, sometimes Ishan copies come around. So I just wanted a song I could talk my shit on, and I definitely did that. So the song means a lot to me. It's one of my favorite songs to perform. I'm performing that this Friday at the Lock Show with Millie's, and in Rhode Island, Providence. And yeah, I mean, this song is a banger in my opinion. It's one of my best, one of my favorites. So
here it is, y'all. Police from Ishan. After this break, hear about what's good for November. Here on the Chop Session. We're back in a moment. This is the Chop Session. In the fun. Sterling Golden this as well. Once again, big love to my man Ishan for pulling up this week to the studio here on the Chop Session. Tough interview, man. I appreciate you pulling up this week.
Thank you for having me, brother.
And I understand you're blessing the stage again shortly. Give us the dates.
Hey, that's what we do. So this Friday, the 22nd of October, we're going to be in New York, opening for Benny the Butcher. A little bit after that, November 5th, I'm going to be back in Boston, Cambridge in the Middle East, opening for Sue Surf. If you need the tickets, you want to hear about the tickets, any info, tap into my DMs, Ishan the Rapper, or my management at Couvy Man, COUVYMAN. Definitely tap in. We got shows for the rest of the year, so we're going to make something happen.
Pull up, yo, and check out Ishan blessing the stage. Okay, you will not be disappointed. And of course, follow him on social media at Ishan the Rapper on Instagram and Twitter, and stream this man's music wherever you fuck with music. You'll be glad that you did. And speaking of things that you're glad that you did, next week here on the Chop Session, to set off that Halloween mood, we have Boston's hard rock warriors, Stormstress, a trio of ladies you have got to fuck with musically. They will be here next Monday, 6 p.m. U.S. Eastern Time on Boston Free Radio. And y'all, as promised earlier on, your November lineup for the Chop Session goes like this. My man G-Eyes, who is doing dope shit himself musically, he's pulling up on the 1st of November. On the 8th of November, very special episode, my girl Britt Johnson, the boss lady, will be here of Boss Lady News. For the first time, I will be interviewing Britt as opposed to Britt interviewing me. Them tables are turning on the 8th here on the Chop Session. The 15th is also dope in observance of the new Destroyer Super Deluxe box set, 45th anniversary for the hottest band in the world, Kiss, an iconic record. We have Dennis Woloch on the line from New York. He is an artist extraordinaire who has been involved in the art direction of numerous Kiss album covers and other projects, photo projects, what have you. Dennis Woloch on the line talking all things Destroyer on the 15th or on the Chop Session. The 22nd, we have my man Gene Dante talking new music. And on the 29th, it is my homegirl Juliana Amaral from Band Inc. on November 29th. And you can catch us each and every Monday, 6 p.m. U.S. Eastern Time on Boston Free Radio. And in case you miss an episode or lock in late, say no more, fam. Say less, in fact. We got you. Check out each and every episode of the Chop Session wherever you listen to podcasts. And you can follow us on social media, on Instagram at Chop Session Show, and on Twitter at The Chop Session. And one more thing, follow your man, Mr. Golden, DJ Sterling Golden on Instagram, and at DJ Sterling Golden with 1 G on Twitter. Couldn't fit 2 G's in the handle. They gotta fix that after 12 years. This is The Chop Session. I am the indefinable Sterling Golden. I say stop.
Been on the situations, I'm the one to do the corner, bro. You think you on the court, but I'm the one to bring the ball in. Been blocking attention, I'm the realest nigga talking. It's that Ishan boy from around the way, ain't busy by the time of day. I have a metal sit, I'm dropping balls about your Saturday. I'm living my rats and here for the chats. If you ain't here a little bitch, then let me tell you the facts. Independent, never sign, I'm the greatest, never lying, and I'm killing